Mythos Busters, investigating the mystery, monsters, and madness of Arkham Horror, the card game.
Hello, investigators! Welcome to this auspicious Tuesday. Welcome to Mythos Busters. I am Sean, and joining me tonight are the other Mythos Busters. We've got Scott.
Hello.
We've got Ian.
Hi.
And we've got Justin.
Heyo.
Oh, and we are so excited. We're so excited. We've been out of the world for a little bit. And boy, what an exciting time to come back. So I guess it bears saying, not only have we been out of the game for a second, but this new announcement from FFG probably has a fair few new eyes on us, I would imagine. So if you are unfamiliar with what we do, we're the Mythos Busters. We've been doing content and community organizing for this game since before its release. From the very moment Ian and I sat down and played a demo of this game at Gen Con, we were hooked, and we have been here. Our accomplishments, well, I mean, I'll say our works have spanned as far as wide as we do a podcast. Oh, we've done a podcast, something to the tune of like 170 something episodes before we ended up going on break. We have started a convention, BusterCon. So check that out. And we did a musical episode. I always forget about that. And last week reminded me when we were on here and we had some new people who've not been here for years. It's been 5-6 years since we did the musical episode. So we can say we've done that. But none of that is relevant tonight, it turns out, because tonight we do some new stuff. Boys, are you excited?
So pumped.
Oh yeah,
So
excited.
So I'll just throw a quick shout out. Well, before we get started here, shout out to our patrons, through whom all of our cool things are possible. If you're interested in supporting us, check us out on Patreon. And I guess the other thing is we are trying to get better about pointing you toward our other content. We did just come back from a year-long break after throwing a couple of BusterCons. So we are back up and getting rolling. So follow us on all of our socials. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. Check out our podcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts, it turns out. And then last week, we basically just did a little bit of a stream and just kind of announcing our comeback and kind of what our content is going to be looking like going forward. And we had to bite our tongues the entire time, knowing that FFG, 3 or 4 days before we announced our comeback, dropped the biggest nugget of news possibly in the game's history. But luckily, we get to talk all about that tonight. So we have a couple of player cards to preview for you guys from the newly announced Chapter 2 core set. And then after we're done with that, please stick around because we are finally going to get down to talking about the new announcement and talking about the future of Arkham, which we are all super pumped to do. So without further ado, shall we get into it?
Oh, cannot wait.
Let's hit it.
Oh no, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to tease you for just a little bit more. I'm doing some cleanup.
Yeah.
No, okay, I'm sorry. I got to be good. I'm trying to be good at this. I have notes. I just need to actually follow them.
I thought that was a shorter amount of teasing than usual.
It probably still was. So the other thing that I want to point people at is that obviously I'm sure a lot of people are very aware, if you're here, that spoilers have been going around the community. Various content creators have been pulled into the mix this time around. So ArkhamHorror.com, Ancient Evils, Arkham.build, and a friend of the show, Quick Learner, in addition to Arkham Horror Memes, have all previewed cards this week. No, a couple into last week too. But anyway, those are all out there. So please go check out those content creators. And then in addition, after tonight, I believe if I checked their schedule correctly, a mere like 6.5, 7 hours after we have previewed our cards, those despicable rapscallions over at Drawn to the Flame will be previewing some cards of their own. So be sure to go check that out. I'm not sure if they're doing a stream or if it's going to be on their podcast, but I'm quite sure they've
And
announced
that's
it somewhere.
6 hours in Baby Eater Standard Time.
That's right. That's right.
That
In
sounds
BST.
about right.
Yeah.
I think that is the standard metric unit of time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I believe that on the 13th, FFG is going to be posting a new article, and presumably, I can't confirm this, so don't come for me if I'm wrong, but presumably we will be kicking off a new cycle of previews for, I guess, the next class or something. But that's what has been announced thus far, so go check that out. Okay, now, without further ado, let's...
Are you sure?
Yeah, maybe. Let's check out some cards. So the first card we have for you tonight, we probably should have figured out who's actually going to read this. Scott, you want to do the
I'll
first
do it.
one?
Hell yeah. All right. We have Through the Cracks. It is a 3-cost Seeker event with an agility icon, insight, and trick traded. And it says evade. You get +1 agility for this evasion for each clue you control to a maximum of +3. If you succeed, you may disengage from each enemy engaged with you and move to a revealed connecting location.
So a couple things
Yeah.
to note here off the bat.
Mhm.
Thing one, look at where the class icon is.
Yes.
That's in a
Mhm.
different
Different.
spot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Two, when there's a test,
Yeah.
it puts the icon of what you're testing there. So it's not like because there's tons of cards that would say like fight, you may use use willpower instead of combat. Now they're
Yeah.
just putting the icon
It
that
just
you're
tells
using.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I also want to point
three,
out
More
that
civilized.
this
box
is, to my knowledge, and maybe the internet will correct me here, but I think this is only the second, including all of Chapter 1 cards. This is only the second true level 0 3-cost Seeker event.
Wow. That is really specific, but
I know. I can't dispute or confirm you. That sounds right.
Someone will now everyone's scrambling to Arkham DB, but I think I'm right because I
know.
don't think I'm not counting
I'm already
Ravenquill.
there.
Ravenquill's
yeah.
customizable.
Yeah. Ravenquill and I've got a plan.
Yep.
That's all you got.
So that's kind of wild to me. Like almost 10 years of this game, and it took
Mhm.
a whole Chapter 2 announcement for us to get another level 3 card. It's almost
Yeah.
like Seekers are very efficient in their card and design.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I already gave it away, but let's talk about the second one. Ian, you want to grab number 2 here?
Sure. So the second one is also Through the Cracks, but it's a level 2 version, and it only costs 2. Let's see. You gain a wild icon in addition to the agility icon. You get +2 agility for this evasion for each clue you control, instead of +1/+2 for each clue, and you can go all the way up to +6. If you succeed, you may disengage from each enemy engaged with you and move to a revealed connecting location. I believe that is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So the upgraded version, you're getting another icon, cheaper cost, which is probably the most important part of it, and then you're getting more agility boost.
Yeah.
I like this, and I think that this would definitely fit in my Dubs deck. I guess it's been a year since I talked about that, but my super cool Ursula deck that loves movement and fast things and all that stuff. So
Reset the clock.
yeah.
So I can't. I have to be real with you guys for a minute because I don't know any other way to be.
Mhm.
This is cool. I'm like excited about it, but this is honestly the kind of card that I often skip over, especially in Seeker,
Sure.
because in Seeker I'm often focusing on clue acquisition, and there's usually someone else who's more concerned with mitigating enemies. And this definitely gets you out of a tight spot in one of those moments where you get tromped by an enemy, and then all of a sudden you're drawing another one in Mythos, and just things are spiraling, right? This is a really great lever. But this is the kind of card that I normally skip in multiplayer, but I see this is a really good solo card. Agree? Disagree?
Mhm.
I think definitely great
Yeah.
in solo. I think this is one of those cards. I think when we've played and it's 4-player and we are so hard into our categories.
Hmm.
Thank God I finished it that way. Uh, like the seekers usually just all clues, right? Like I know there's been seeker decks that I've built where I'm like, I have no enemy management whatsoever. I have no emergency cards. You guys are gonna have to do every enemy thing for me. I think in like as you start going down below 4 players, like 3 and 2, um, even my hard like the hard clover style where it's all clues all the time, I still have at least 2 cards, sometimes 4, like usually 2 copies of 1 card or 2 copies of 2 card of even like I've got a plan or think on your feet, something to get out of dodge that I can do just in case someone's across the map.
Mm-hmm.
I think this fits right into that slot.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
I-
three's a bit much, but I mean
Yeah.
it's competing with I've got a plan, but I've got a plan. I don't know.
Is it though? Because that's
Yeah,
the
that's
other
the-
thing. That's the other thing to consider is now suddenly we are talking about potentially an entirely new meta, right?
Yes.
I can't speak for sure what the community is going to do as far as splitting up, the player card pool. I think, I mean, I don't know. We haven't talked about it as content creators, but I think in general I'm going to keep them pretty separate because I would imagine that the design intent is that this is a at least from a balancing perspective a new start, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's the tricky part. Like for all our card analysis going forward, we have to balance those two things.
Mhm.
And these are our first cards we're looking at in this kind of new world. Because yeah, I agree. Like if we're looking at the entire card pool, like 3 cost events in general have to do like something very special for me to include them. Because 3 costs, like I usually want it to be an asset.
Yeah.
But there are
Yeah.
some that I include because they're so bomb, and this does have a bomb effect. Like you're basically like, if you're surrounded by enemies, you're evading them all, and you're getting. But I think more so like if this is, it is a core set, and if you're treating it as this is just that core set card pool, then I could see this would probably be useful.
The question from
Seekers have a
me,
way to deal with it.
oh, sorry, and question from me. I agree with all that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just because I just played him in Iron Man. But talk to me about this in Lucius.
Mm.
I mean,
Because
Yeah.
that's like I agree with a lot of the like I've got a plan would probably slot in more for actual enemy management. But when I was looking at this, I was thinking back to Iron Man and thinking of, oh, well, crap, then this could let me go prioritize doing something over here and sort of like free up the sequence.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But
I
I don't know
mean,
if it's worth it.
if we're talking about this in a broader, wider card pool context, I think it's pretty solid in Lucius. It's doing what he wants to do. You're gonna get an evade. You're getting a boost to the evade, so you're probably gonna snag a clue, and then you're also getting a move out of it. So I think as long as
Yeah.
you've got something going to mitigate that 3 cost, because as mentioned, normally if I'm
Right.
paying 3 resources for a card, I want it to stick around for a little bit.
Mhm.
But in the right moment, this is a massive get out of a tight spot
Yeah.
type of card.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
thinking like if it's, hey, I'm all of a sudden the enemies are starting to swarm, but there's one over here, so I can keep doing my thing next turn. Bamf over, killer swoops in. Now that
Mhm.
is situational, but I mean, it's pretty easy to line up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think you could even use this as even in I don't know in an aggressive way, not necessarily defensive way. Like, what if you need to get 2 locations over, but that
Mhm.
location in the middle is the one where you've kind of kited all the enemies to? Run in, play this, you get out of them, and then now you're kiting the other way.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't always have to be an emergency button. This could be even in those seekers or people who with seeker access who have decent agility, this might be able to be used aggressively or proactively
Like
instead
as
of
a
reactively.
positioning tool.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there are certain maps where that is kind of the puzzle. Is like, okay, how do we move around what's going on here? And yeah, that's a good point. And then
I guess one part of this I didn't notice yet until now is that when you move, it has to be to a revealed connecting
yeah,
location. That little revealed word is always tricky.
yeah,
because that might mean it's a backpedal.
Yeah, so that limits a little bit. Like it would be nice to just like go hurtling forward into
Yeah,
yeah.
the darkness, but
Like
yeah.
probably terrible in the Dunwich train scenario, right? Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but I mean, most other scenarios, I think you're gonna have some back and forth movement and moving.
Scott, I
You
think you underestimate how quickly I want to end that scenario sometimes.
Just run off the end of the car.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with you, Ian. Though the revealed connecting location that does, unfortunately, I think knocks it's the power down a peg or two.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit less flexible.
And it is really interesting to think about this because, like, shifting gears back, right? We were just talking about it in the broader card pool. This is a core set card for a new card meta, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of wild, right? Can you imagine if this
Mhm.
were in the OG core set? Your seeker gets a evade with agility. I mean, I guess you do
Mhm.
get the boost with the clues, but it's not like seekers are generally known for being very good at evading, right? That I wouldn't necessarily call that part of their class identity
Mm-hmm.
in chapter 1 at least. Certainly there are outliers. There's Ursula, there's Kate, there's Lucius, but
Mhm.
so we might be seeing hints of kind of the class identity shifting a little bit for chapter 2. Who knows?
I think one thing I could take away from this is that I know that there's been lots of talks beforehand with, the various designers we've had on the show where they talk about, like, everyone has to be able to draw cards, but the Seekers just do that inherently. The Guardian has different way to draw cards. Uh, you know, Rogues pay money and Guardians take damage or whatever, right? Like everyone can fight, but everyone does it differently. Whereas Guardians will use actual fists and guns, but you get what I'm saying. Certain classes do certain things, but they can all do everything, but just worse than the other classes, supposedly. But this costs 3 to evade, right? Like this is a great evade card for Seekers. If I was looking at this in like Rogue, I would expect it to be 1 to 2 cost. It would be looking at my resources, and I'd be able to move to any location. So I feel like this is kind of that. Hey, yeah, Seekers can do the same thing as Rogues. It's just going to cost you 3, and it's not quite as efficient or not quite as good,
Right.
which I'm
It's
totally fine with. This is what I want from our card design too.
yeah. Well, and one interesting thing, because this I think a good comparison is in chapter 1. I've got a plan, right? That is a staple for a reason. It's good damage output. It's skill swapping to the skill that presumably you'd prefer to be using. But I have found, and I don't know if you guys have as well, that despite how generally good that card is, there are still a few moments where it's like, okay, you advance the act, you spend your clues down,
Yep.
big enemy pops out, and you're staring at this
Yeah.
in your hand, and you're like, well, this is 3 costs to do 1 damage right now.
Yeah. That's when the bosses always come out too, is with the next act.
Yeah, so like holding on to clues is an interesting mechanic to kind of like tether the effectiveness of a card to, right? Because it's so dependent on where you are at in whatever scenario you're at, and I mean, presumably as a seeker you're going to be getting clues and being pretty good at that, but yeah, timing can still get weird.
100%. Mike Cheb mentions in chat as well, control versus have clues templating.
Oh,
This is
Pick up on that.
clues you control versus amount of clues you have.
okay.
Yep. Very astute. Well done.
I'm going to be very interested for people picking out those new things, like, because it doesn't seem from what we've seen so far that they're like completely reinventing the game by any means. But it does seem like they're at least trying to help themselves by cleaning up like technical syntax and whatnot.
Yeah,
Which is
I'm very curious about their whole like core design approach for this chapter 2. Like, in particular, like, are we gonna get I've Got a Plan reprinted? Like, I guess my question is, are we gonna have these two side by side? Like, you have your combat and then you have your evade, or is this like the replacement essentially?
Yeah.
Well,
The other thing
More
too.
importantly, will we have a rules reference and a learn to play?
Yeah.
Survey says probably yes.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's That's interesting. I like, and obviously we're looking at this in kind of a vacuum. I haven't been able to pay close attention to everyone else's spoilers this week yet, so I don't really know what the Seeker card pool is really looking like. So I'm gonna have to dig into that sometime this weekend. But yeah, it's an interesting tool to have. So it'll be really cool to see how this plays in the new core with the new meta, kind of like as its own like limited card pool. You know.
Speaking of words on the card, did you guys notice the crates?
What do the crates say?
No.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. It says Tillengast Endeavors.
Mm.
Oh,
You guys know I'm a sucker for
Tillengast.
theme and connection, and they
I
did
like
it.
that. And it is interesting to see that it seems at least like we built a little bit toward it in chapter 1, but it definitely seems more like they're taking more of an interest to make the world kind of continuous in its details like that from what we've seen so far, and definitely from the setup in the Drowned City, right? Like, but it just kind of seemed like the threads are being laid for this to kind of be like the new normal, and here we start, and now this is Arkham mostly as you know it, but there's a bunch of new stuff going on. All right, boys. Well, any final words on Through the Cracks?
No.
I'm hearing no.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what investigator I'm going to put this in. So.
Yeah, no doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah.
So we will end our cards preview there. Stay on stream though, because we're about to start talking about the core set. So again, if you're interested in supporting us or seeing what else we do, check us out on Patreon. Go check out Drawn to the Flame, as they've got the penultimate preview for the week before FFG spoils their new article. And we'll see you guys next time.